actually read a study recently that across Southeast Asia, Filipinos are the most social virtually. So, ang dami talagang gumagamit like ng social media online, and that's why it's not surprising that social media selling is so in,
Yeah.
especially here. Yeah.
A lot has changed. Meron na silang shop. That is why if you're an online seller, it's best to maximize these different platforms. And of course, we're here to give you some tips on how you can maximize it.
Welcome to the Payo E-commerce Academy podcast, where we help you with your e-commerce journey. Here's your host, Jen.
Welcome back to another episode of Payo E-commerce Academy. I'm Jen,
And I'm Althea.
and we are your host for today's podcast.
Yay, I'm back.
Yeah, welcome back.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, we're about to discuss social media selling. And before we dive into that, no, gaano ka kadala sa social media platforms?
Ooh, sobrang dalas. Yun na lang. Let's leave it at that. I'm usually on like Instagram, Facebook, the usuals. How about you? What's your favorite social media platform?
Instagram. Maraming boodles from there.
That's
so,
true.
And of course, apart from that, nakabili ka na ba sa Instagram, Facebook?
Yeah, actually, like half of like my clothes I usually get from Instagram shops. Yeah.
I see.
And
oo.
of course, kasi when you go to one shop, diba, you get targeted by
Targeted,
different ads
oo.
also.
Different suggestions.
Yeah, so
That's true.
nakakabudol talaga siya. But I don't think I'm alone in this because I actually read a study recently that across Southeast Asia, Filipinos are the most social virtually. So, ang dami talagang gumagamit like ng social media online, and that's why it's not surprising that social media selling is so in,
Yeah.
especially here. Yeah.
Oh, and also before, no, they're just plain social media. You go to Facebook to interact with your family,
In a
with your
relationship.
friends. And then same with Instagram and TikTok. TikTok before is just, parang magsi-stream ka lang
Yeah.
ng videos, but now a lot has changed. Meron na silang shop.
Yeah,
Actually,
I know. TikTok
all
shop,
of
right?
all of them has a shop. That is why if you're an online seller, it's best to maximize these different platforms. And of course, we're here to give you some tips on how you can maximize it. So,
Yeah. So I think first and foremost, if we're talking about social media, you have to make sure na you have very eye-catching visuals and descriptions, because when you're on social media, you have like what 2-3 seconds to really catch someone's attention. So I think that's like something that merchants and online sellers really have to think about, like it they have to place themselves in the shoes of their customers. Na parang if I see this on my feed, would I
yeah.
stop? Would I check the product out or something? So I think that's why it's very important to have very nice visuals, photos, make the descriptions like witty, interesting, but at the same time succinct. So basically, yeah, that's like the first tip that comes to mind, because like you can't really sell a product if you don't, kung hindi mo makukuha yung attention ng customers mo.
Oh, this is another reason why most of the sellers no hire yung mga photographers just to
Yeah,
take a photo.
oo.
They're being extra, but it helps. It helps
True.
a lot, no? Especially for me, pag nakita ko ang ganda ng photo, like nung bag, I'm going to get it.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes it's the way a product is modeled, especially clothes or something. Like if you see it on a model and you think, oh, that looks really good, and then it would look good on me too, makes you interested.
That's correct. And then apart from that, no, of course, it is also important to create bundles and promos. I admittedly buy something, no, pag nakita ko, ay, naka-sale, naka-promo, may mga bundles,
Yeah.
automatically, napipick talaga yung interest ko. And, talagang effective siya. And as you can see, no, with brick and mortar stores, they also have that.
Yeah.
Na makita nyo sa merchandise nila na may mga nakabundle. And it's also a great way to get customer shopping.
Yeah, that's so true. And like I think what's so smart about, bundles and promos, it's like sometimes, 'di ba, like if you buy, let's say like a top and a skirt, if you buy just the top, it's gonna be like this price. But if you buy it as a bundle, it'll come out
Correct.
cheaper. And it's very tempting because maiisip mo like, oh, mas sulit. So,
Yes,
yeah.
correct. And also, it comes handy, no, especially with holidays and kung may mga occasions like Mother's Day, Father's Day,
Yeah.
maraming promos for that special occasion.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
that's true.
it's a great avenue also to generate sales for the merchants.
Yeah. Aside from like the products though and like the offerings, one thing that merchants should really consider also is their customer service. You know, with the rise of social media and like the advancements in tech, people are so used to like instant gratification. You know, if I message like on a social media page, I would expect a reply by like a few minutes, right?
Yes.
And if you don't get a reply in a few minutes, you'd probably like just go to another shop. So I think it's so important to be prompt in responding to questions, inquiries, especially if like it's a customer that ordered tapos let's say late yung delivery or something
The
like
follow-ups, right?
yeah, yeah. I think that's why it's so important to be quick in responding. And of course, like things like chatbots, they can help. But I think,
For the FAQs.
yeah, for the, the common questions like,
Yeah.
oh, like, where do you guys deliver or whatever the price is. But I think people still want that like human element na if they want to talk to, an actual person and not a bot, like I think that's still an important aspect that you should consider in your business.
I myself, no, mas gusto ko yung medyo personalized
Yeah.
yung mga response. I usually get that when I buy sa social media, especially Instagram.
Yeah.
And it's really a nice touch of customer service, no?
Yeah, and I think it makes, like personally as well, it makes me want to buy more from a shop if they're very responsive and if they're very
Yes.
helpful, for example,
They
with
know you by your
sizes.
name.
Yeah, yeah. So those little things I think really encourage customers to patronize your store if you're selling on social media.
Correct. And then another tip, no, for our online sellers is always share positive feedback from your customers.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm an online seller also,
Oh.
and I usually post good feedback from the page or when they bought my product. No, kasi unlike sa website, you need to scroll pa to
Yeah.
see the comments, the feedbacks. Whereas with social media, it can be sent out through text messages or shared
And also like
posts.
you can again like you can like get the screenshots of like let's say a good feedback and like make a post out
Exactly.
of it. But wait, before that, what do you sell? So like what's your shop name?
Well, my shop is Bodega Scout, and I sell vintage items. So it's really important to share positive feedback, no? Kasi in that way, makakuha ka ng mga customers na, okay, na-experience na ni customer A yung service niya or the items. Then,
Yeah,
of
and
course.
I think it also helps with your credibility as a shop.
That's correct.
Yeah, like usually when I buy something online, which I do often, quite often, it does help if like there are other like customers vouching for like say a product or like their
Satisfied
experience
customers.
exactly.
Correct.
Yeah. So it's definitely a plus if I see those. That's why merchants should really consider
Keeping tabs on them.
yeah, and like using those to as proof of concept basically that they deliver. With that being said, I think one thing that's also important is staying active on social media and getting creative. Staying active meaning post often or like I'm not saying post every hour or something, but like
Yeah, and I think meron silang scheduling, right, of
yeah,
posting.
exactly.
One time nga, since I want to post something dun sa online store, I usually Google when is the best
Best
time to
time,
post
yeah.
on Instagram, on TikTok, and yeah, it really helps a lot.
Yeah. So posting often and like, for one, it gets your brand out there, I mean, if you're a new shop, it might not get like a lot of likes or not even a lot of traction at first, but like it really helps to have content there that's going to be accessible to people who might want to be your customers, right? And also like the other part, being creative. I mean, let's be real. There's a lot of content on
Yes.
social media. I mean, if diba, you're an online
Yes.
seller, so you know like the competition and all that. So I think that's why it's important to keep your posts creative, and like sometimes it helps to kind of join in like viral trends. Like, have you ever done that?
Yes, especially with TikTok.
Yeah.
So you need to know what's the trend, like what you've mentioned. And say for example, yung mga witty posts,
Yeah.
'di ba?
Yeah, totally. I think those posts, like really witty ones, really helps in setting your brand apart.
Yeah.
Like, it helps with brand recall, then like you see
Mm-mm.
a post, and then like you kind of think, you get interested, right? And then like later on, if you see that shop again, you remember it's like, oh, it's that
Yeah,
that shop with like the really funny post. So
that's true.
ayun. Another thing with social media that's really in right now is live selling. Because I feel like that's a
That's true.
really, right? Right? And it's a really fun way to engage with your customers. And also, I think it's really smart because there's this factor with live selling that makes customers feel like if I don't get it now, like I'm not going to be able to
Yes,
get it.
there's an urgent kasi
Yeah,
need
like
no
a
to
sense
buy
of
it.
urgency.
Yes.
So and again, it's very fun because like customers can like comment and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think I've only joined like a live selling session once, but it was fun because like they're really saying like, oh, hello, good evening sa lahat ng nanonood and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So
Oo, most of the time sila yung sa mga dresses, no?
yeah, and
Oo.
like also
And
like
plants.
those like collectibles, like anime toys and stuff. Like I see a lot of those. So
Like yung mga rare finds.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Oh, that's nice. And then, of course, no, if you have extra budget to spare, it is also a great tip to join or boost ads.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I myself is doing that also with my Instagram posts. And apart from the traction that I'm getting, meron talaga, may sale talaga from
Yeah.
there. And apart from that, you gain more followers, more inquiries.
Yeah, and
Oo.
like with boosting posts, I mean like if you get a lot of traction organically, that's also very nice. But then like, boosting is basically for people na um social media platforms have kind of figured out might be interested in your product, and then like, they show your ads and stuff. So I think it's just like something you should invest in, especially if like medyo maluwag budget wise, ganyan.
Yes. And what's nice about boosting ads in social media is you get to choose your specific target.
Yeah.
So if your target market is around teens, yung mga young adults, etc. So you get to target them, and especially no, even yung geographic.
Yeah, oo. And like it's interesting because I didn't notice like how many ads I would see, because some of them are so like well done. Like you won't even notice it's an ad. You'd think, for example, if you're on Instagram, you'd think it's just like a story of like another person, but it's like a really nice ad and stuff.
Yes.
So I think it's really like helpful not only with like getting more leads, but also I don't know, it's just like a good way to be creative also, I think.
So there goes the creative part
Yeah,
also,
yeah.
no?
So like it's so interesting selling on social media because before, again, we would just use it to connect, right? And to like keep connected online, like keep our relationships and kind of like update people on what's happening in their lives. But then now it's like also something merchants can use for social selling. But it's still, I think, a way of connecting with other people. So yeah. So yeah, I mean, on my end, those are just like some of my thoughts and my top tips when it comes to social selling. Do you have any other things to add?
Yeah, I think we've already covered everything,
Yeah.
no?
I mean, I really had fun discussing this, and I feel like
Yes.
we can go on and on though, because like there are so many aspects of social media
Yes.
selling.
Sobrang daming tips out there, no? These are just some of it.
With these tips, we're hoping that merchants who are listening right now will kind of get an idea on how to navigate social selling, and it'll help them sell their products better.
Yeah. And of course, for anything or everything e-commerce, please don't forget to follow our podcast. It's Payo E-commerce Academy. And we're also available on social media,
course.
Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and even Quora.
So make sure to check out our social media pages.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Bye.